All right, and we are live. And all right, we are live. Just wanted to watch my own live stream pop up, make sure everything's working right. All right, we have a lot of awesome, weird, strange behavioral news coming up today. Things to just bring to the forefront. Now, the Dow down 490 points. We knew this was going to happen. Look, I drew this, honestly, pretty perfectly. I mean, a little off, but I drew up to the trend line, back down, back to the top of the trend line, and coming back down. I see us basically going to my measured move here of 16,500. Big fallout coming for the Dow. So that's just something you guys should look out for. The Dow is going to tank. Mark my words, it will go down past 16,000. I'm calling for a $10,000 Dow. We're getting up into the overbought region again, which is not healthy. We have a MACD bullish cross ending. So this is turning bearish. We have a turn here. You can see we're in a rising wedge with a 68% chance of a break to the downside. These are obvious happenings. Let's check out on gold. Well, gold, I drew a bull flag here. I drew a falling wedge. I said the falling wedge should break out. We drew this a long time ago. First, we drew this one. We said we should get to this point. So we had this falling wedge. We took our measured move. We made it there. We had our second falling wedge. First, we had our rising wedge. We said a 68% chance of a break to the downside. See it happening. It broke down. We had our V-shaped recovery. Then we had our little mini bull flag. We hit our target here. Then we got into basically a falling wedge channel, which I said had a potential of going here. Then we rode into a bull flag, which I said had a chance of going to 1,700. Boom, we're back to 1,700 for gold. JNUG, what I like seeing now is holding smaller losses. It's just too oversold. It can't follow the market anymore. They're going to decouple in the way they look. This is a perfect bottoming pattern if we look at it here. A rounded bottom at that too. If we get into this on the 4 hour, I mean, look at this thing. That's a double bottom right there. Triple bottom, really, if you can see. So, I mean, in my opinion, just so much coming for JNUG. As the market tanks, I think JNUG is gonna exceed. I kept saying too that to take little nibbles off the SXPU at 18, 17. I think this is really where you want to start shorting the market right now. I think we're about to have a huge fallout from this market short. It's only a matter of time. We also retraced down on this past any retracement, right? Past the 618, like here we're already up past the 618, past the 706. We stopped for a little while. We bounced down 100% retrace all the way from 42 back to 90. I moved that. All right, so we're on our way back up, and it's only a matter of time. We have a MACD cross coming here. So as you can see, this is starting to form bullish. This is the day I would be buying the S&PX short. Right now, I would be shorting the market. I'm telling you right now, never been a better day to short the market. Just look, oversold on the RSI. We have a MACD cross coming. We're super low. The Dow is going to fall this. Now we see gold finally decoupling, doing its own thing. It's going to go to 17, soon to 18, and more and more and more. So we're going to see gold go up a lot more. That's my prediction. Let me try to look at gold in like a larger scale here. I'm going to take this channel here. I'm not going to include this V-shaped fallout because those are just extreme moves that I've found that I can take off, you know. This double top, we are in this rising open wedge here, which can be bullish depending on. So we should get to the top of the trend line, which puts us at 1776. Let's look left when in doubt. Zoom out, right? We'll hit the daily now. I'm just trying to find a new level of support and resistance from earlier, from 5 years ago. Can you believe that? So look, we're hitting my line at 1703. I have another line here at 1725. Let's see why I have these lines and what's going on. All right, so then we also see here at 1794, we have resistance, and then up there. And then after that, if we break 1900 an ounce, it's off to the races, right? Gold. You have to remember that gold is higher than it's ever been in multiple currencies throughout the world. So if you just keep comparing it to the price of the US dollar, then you're not going to actually, you're going to say, oh, well, gold still isn't at where it was back in, you know, blah, 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 2000 an ounce. But you have to remember that in the world currencies, gold has already hit the highest level in many currencies. I think over 60 to 70 different world currencies. Gold is the highest it's ever been. So something to think about. I'm still stuck on this. Benton Research is they're acquiring precious metals, clean air metals. They have a big double bottom here, as you can see, forming. That should basically, we looked at the measured move there, should put us up to 22 cents. So if we can just make that measured move here on this double bottom, we should see some huge gains coming out of this coin. This stock, calling it a coin. So 163% gains coming. Even if you just played it to the top of this line here, you still have 75% gains coming from Benton Research's group, BEX. So I'm just pushing it, putting it on your radar so you guys can see. Now, Amazon just taking no prisoners. It's going to come back down to the bottom of this trend line, though, back to 1786. Good time to sell Amazon, in my opinion. It's getting into this oversold region, overbought region. Overbought region. It could go up a little more, and then where are we going to go from there? It's only a matter of time. So just something we have to look out for there. JNUG at 5.94. JNUG, I see JNUG bottomed. I think we're going to see huge moves back into up to 80. I think we could go up to 80 all the way back to its 100 move. So look out for that. There's something I see happening. So I think JNUG's finally decoupling from the Dow. I think eventually we're going to see people just realize like it's not a place you want to be. American dollars are garbage. This is the beginning of this global pandemic stock market crash. It has just begun. So Amazon and Gilead are key movers. I threw Gilead up on there today, GLD. Don't be confused with gold, GILD, right? Gilead Sciences. But they're on the forefront here of getting a vaccine created, you know. Seeing a lot of unsettling news about Fauci and how he's been involved with Gates for a long time now. This could be a pretty big push for a vaccine move. Whoever gets this vaccine will make $1 trillion. $1 trillion, guys. So you have to realize that this vaccine is no joke. There's a lot of money at stake. It's not just a little game, it's a big game. And whoever comes out on top of this game is going to be the winner. Bill Gates has already funded like almost every one of them. And that way he has his hand in the cookie jar. No matter what happens, he will eventually take his money out of that and he'll bank. So he can fund each potential maker of a vaccine, and then he can wait for that and see what happens. So just something you want to watch out for. Yeah. Let's get into crypto for a second and see what's happening with the crypto. So we have Bitcoin at 6,700 holding. I got stopped out at 66.46 earlier this morning. Looks like I almost, had a bounce back, though, holding above this 2-day moving average. We are on a falling wedge. We did make a lower low than here. So now we have a lower low. This could create a new downtrend, as you can see here. New downtrend, something like this. Let's see what this guy says. This is Flip. He's got some good, he's usually quick Bitcoin evaluation. Overvalued, undervalued, several overvaluation, 5 severe under. You need to change the scale to the log. I couldn't work out how to do it. If you can tell me, I will update the script. This indicator on-chain transactions and total Bitcoins to arrive at under/overvaluation. So I don't understand what he's saying here. Saying if it's under or over. I guess here is it over, here is it's under. Red and blue. So right now it's under evaluation, I guess is what he's saying. I'll have to do some research into that for help you guys. I thought usually he was just going to do a market analysis, like a little quick, hey, this is what's going on. So Bitcoin at 6,700, 6,715. What do I see happening for Bitcoin? Well, I do see the bears are back in town. And why am I saying that? Well, we have this downtrend, right? And then we created a new uptrend, which we're still in the uptrend pattern here. See, I'm drawing with this line. We came back down to this line, 66.46. I thought we could definitely hit this line. I thought if we broke it too, we would go all the way back to 5796, 5800. So that's why I put my stop loss at 66. Thought we would hold that. But now we also see we're starting this new downtrend, so we could start this pattern here. we want to hold this line. This is like a key line in the sand right here. This 6,700. I mean, I can't explain how much the 66 to 6,800 range has played out for Bitcoin for a long, long time. But it seems to be just a range that Bitcoin likes to just keep falling in and just having serious issues getting through. It's been major support. It's been major resistance. So we just have to keep battling through these limits, these moments, but it's not easy. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen for Bitcoin right now. Today's one of the hardest days for me to make a prediction. The other day it was easy, I said, all right, we're going to pump up a little bit. We're going to get a little bit of a move. I thought 6,800 was kind of like this real line in the sand. Seeing the Dow go down, though, and then Bitcoin only down 2.6% compared to the Dow down a lot more. It's very interesting to me, something to look at. A lot of coins lost their little push-ups that they had going, though. The Bear coin now starting to make a move. Let's look at Bear USDT. This is what you would do if you would short the market on Bitcoin. And it's still going up, it's not overbought yet or oversold, so it's still in a good place to keep coming up. Kind of in this falling wedge, which it should break up more. We always have to go to the 1 hour to see what's going on here. And it's weird. No matter how much I sleep, I tend to yawn during this. It's like, I think it's gastro, something with my eating habits, or I don't know what is going on. It's really strange. Ether USD back to 150 fell out hard on our climb up back to try to reclaim here a 170 region. So just something to look at. On the daily, let's look. We have a MACD cross coming negatively. And we're at the end, so there's some more downside coming for Ether, in my opinion. Tell you, I was looking at H-bar. Let's take a look at H-bar. I got out of that trade. I'm still waiting on that place to get in. I don't want to see this break here. See this line in the sand here, this trend line. This is really, to me, the line in the sand for H-bar. Right here. Right where it is, actually. If it breaks down, it's going further down to probably here. Back to 19. So this could be a huge fallout for H-bar. Because look, there's not much resistance. Little bit of support here at 20, 24, and then boom, 19. So if this breaks down, it breaks down hard. So good chance to maybe even get in right now because you could have a nice stop loss. I just don't like the rest of the market right now for playing an altcoin. I think it's kind of time to relax for a second and just take a breather and see what's going on. Not a lot of green out here, right? I mean, down almost every coin down pretty hard. XDZ back to 190. It was making big moves up to 216, almost top 220. Yeah, came right back down. It's still in the bottom of this trend line, and I said if it got back into this green zone, this would be the accumulation point. We're kind of in my green zone now, as you can see, in the 190 region, on the bottom of this trend line. But don't get salty if you buy now and it falls through back to this other green zone. It's very possible. There's just a lot going on with the markets, making everyone feel uncomfortable. There's a lot of ups and downs today. Just a lot to think about, a lot to go over. JNUG still holding 6. Gold going to top 1,700 an ounce. I mean, that's something we've been nailing at this channel. Our gold analysis has been spot on. And it's to me, it's obvious if you watch gold every day as much as I do, eventually you're going to be able to figure out gold. That's why it's fun to watch one asset for years and years and years and years. Every single time you look at those values, it's going to help you make a decision or equate something, and it's going to help you get where you need to go. So, Litecoin, 40.21, holding that 40 region. I'm a big holder of Litecoin. I own a bag of it. It looks like it's double bottoming here with a kind of like a double bottom inside of a double bottom, as you can see that. I think that's healthy for Litecoin. I don't see how much more we can go down, but just again, I'm very nervous right now because I think the whole market's going to crash really, 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 really bad. I would be shorting the S&P if I was in any equity at all right now. It's looking really nice, actually. I just went over that at the beginning of the show. So just something I want you guys to understand that shorting the S&P is the move right now if you're in the stock market. Just something I have to really push. Amazon still holding 2, but I think it's going to come back down. Let's change this trend line. Let's change this trend line to here. Let's move this down to here. Boom. It's going to bounce up. I think it comes back to the top of the trend line, or it wicks down from here. And we see a retrace back to 1788. Then we come back up, come back down. Now, this is a 68% chance of a break to the downside. So let's just take the measured move if this does what we usually do see happen, which I actually, as far as it can coil up, the better it is for it, because the less low this line will become. But that puts us back down at 1100 for Amazon. So I just think this is time to take your profits out of Amazon. I mean, if you're not, you're just getting greedy. It's either going to go parabolic. Now, if it goes parabolic, it'll go up, down, up, and it'll break out of this. And honestly, the measured move here on a parabolic move like that is just speculative, because they tend to be extremely parabolic. Like, this will be like, boom. We could see a three. And I just don't see, with the stock market crashing, how we end up with a $3,000 Amazon stock. And that's basically what has to happen. So we have one or two positions, 11,000, 3,000. And it's going to come into the end of this, and you're going to see it. So you could either put a buy on either side. You could short it one way, or, have them both waiting. Because one of these scenarios is going to happen to Amazon. And it's going to basically lead the way for the rest of the market, something you really have to think about and keep in your back pocket there. Something you have to think about. So that's just got to put that in your mind as well. I do keep pushing JNUG. It was very oversold. Only, if you can see, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in basically 7 years. JNUG was oversold on the daily. So if you didn't buy it now, I mean, you're still kind of in the low point too. You're still kind of ready to accumulate some JNUG. So I think this is a good time to buy more JNUG. The only issue is it's supposed to be a gold ETF. It's supposed to work with gold. But the only issue is I have seen it tanking with the Dow. Today, the Dow 2.3%, JNUG down 0.8%. So I see it coupling. I want to see them decouple. I eventually want to see gold go up so high that you can't even begin to believe that JNUG and the Dow should be even closely connected. And I think that's going to happen. I think it's a hard prediction to make because a lot of other things have been going on, but I think it's going to happen. A lot of people predicting Amazon going to go up or down. Now we see Amazon in this bilateral triangle kind of, right? Now I still see it going up 86% if it breaks out of that measured move and goes up to 546. Now everyone is streaming. My green buy box is still waiting. It's saying this is when you want to get into Amazon. We came pretty close to my green buy box right here when we boomed down. Now we're back up. This could be also a double top, which could play out. Just giving you potential scenarios based on all the different patterns that I'm seeing. But this could be a double top, which we could see play out down here, something like this. It could wick out of here at 189. That would be a big fallout for Netflix. So something I do see happening. The MACD is kind of extending itself. It could go up a little more, maybe on like a double hill action, something like this. We still see, but right now it's looking like it's at the top of the trend line. Be a good time to sell right now and get out of it. This oscillator is telling you it's a good time to buy. It's a good time to buy Netflix. But I just think you just got to play these triangles. Like, you always want to buy here and here, bottom of the trend line. They're aggressive buys, but honestly, this is really, like, it has a loopy double bottom, kind of strange double bottom. Look, bum, which also would put it back up. So it's in a healthy shape, right? Something to keep watching. And I do think that I guess here, when I put it at the bottom of the trend line, that was a good buy. So here we can see it go up to 40% gains, waiting for Netflix. I don't see why Netflix would go down, but yeah, so yeah. Now, what are they saying for the markets? I like to see what the nays say. I just like to see coronavirus stock market rally. Dow Jones dives 500 points as COVID cases continue to rise. Amazon, Gilead make moves. Dow moves sharply lower as Wall Street slide gains momentum. Yeah, Goldman Sachs abandoned its bearish near-term view on stocks. Says the bottom is in. Oh, come on, man. What, are they trying to save their own butt? This is interesting. I want to see what they're saying, like how they even can tell me that the bottom is in. When I'm sitting here as an analyst in my house, it's a one guy by himself. They have thousands of computers and people, and they're telling me that it's over. With the long Easter weekend behind us, stocks are pointing to a lower start for Monday as the coronavirus fallout swings into focus. A big question for to start the week is whether investors have gotten ahead of themselves. After the S&P 500 managed its best weekly gain in 45 years as the Federal Reserve threw more money at the economy. Banks may have something to say about Tuesday as the kickoff earnings season, shedding light on the damage that's been done so far. Our call of the day for a team of Goldman Sachs strategists led by David Costin says the worst of the market rout is behind us. A previous near-term downside of 2,000 for the S&P 500 is no longer likely. Our year-end S&P target remains 3,000, says the team in a note focus. Why? The combination of unprecedented policy support and flattening viral curve have dramatically reduced downside risks for the U.S. economy and financial markets and lifted the S&P 500 out of the bear market territory, whose gloomy stock prediction from last month came the day before the complete market meltdown. If the U.S. does not experience a second surge in infections after the economy reopens, the do-whatever-it-takes chance of policymakers means the equity market is unlikely to make new lows. I think we are going to have those. I think we are going to have that wave, and I think that wave is coming. I think it's something that's going to happen. The 200-point assumes bear market bottom and peak initial unemployment claims of 6.9 released on March 27th. And Goldman that's not true. I'm about to be out of a job in a couple more weeks. And there's a lot of people hanging on like me. So, Statue of Christ, the Redeemer, is lit upon Easter Sunday with images of medical workers in honor. Oh, that's funny. Bearing some health case miracle, the U.S. is looking at 18 months of rolling shutdowns, says Neil Kashari, head of the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. A major pork producer, Smithfield Foods, has shut a big U.S. plant due to rampant outbreaks of coronavirus. Employees at drug maker Biogen helped spread coronavirus across 6 states. The European Commission president has warned against making any summer holiday plans. Banks are kicking off first quarter earnings this week, but it will take months to see who will survive a depression-level drought. Bitcoin billionaire Mark Cuban isn't rolling out a run at U.S. presidency. Any Democratic candidate, Joe Biden, has been accused of sexual assault by a former staffer. By his deputy campaign manager claims this absolutely did not happen. I mean, you can just look up the Joe Biden videos. The guy is a creeper. If you guys don't believe me, I try to push this agenda, and I'm not a Republican. I was raised Democrat in Boston, but it's just something I want to show you. I mean, not a lot of people you can write pedophile and then just watch Joe Biden touch people in ways that is very, very strange.
He's enjoyed a pretty successful political career. It's just the truth. So some of y'all might remember about a year ago, Joe Biden caught some heat for a photo that resurfaced of him groping Stephanie Carter. Now, this was during his vice presidency.
Look at his hand
and
right here.
Stephanie Carter came out and said that she did not feel groped. You know, she was not uncomfortable, or she did not feel that Joe Biden was doing anything wrong. Now, this seems to be kind of a common occurrence whenever Joe Biden...
And I know this isn't economic, but it is, because it has everything to do with where our country's going, which will affect the markets.
...has done something like this. It seems like somebody, somewhere, whether it be the person themselves, their mother, their father, they come out and say that, you know, they did not feel uncomfortable during this. They were not groped. This was just a big misunderstanding. One more thing I'd like to bring up before we start these clips is that these clips and the articles about them are very, very hard to find. You have to be extremely specific in your search criteria, and even then, these videos seem to have been purged off all major media sites. I had to go to like a government news video archive to find these videos because they're just not anywhere else. So I really believe that there has been an effort from Joe Biden's team. I don't know what they've done to get these videos.
He just moves his hand in ways that make you uncomfortable. And he kind of edges down and he edges down, and it's like he knows what he's doing really slowly. Like he's playing this game right now with her while everyone else is
So that was just a little bit of a display of Joe Biden's inappropriate behavior. Obviously, he was rubbing the girl's hair, kissing her, rubbing her chest if you look closely. And as far as I could see, I looked everywhere. This is the first time he has ever met this child, the first time they ever came in contact with each other, and he's doing this. You can see him saying how granddaughters have to take care of their grandpa as he rubs the girl and kisses her. I don't know what his sick definition of being taken care of is. Who knows?
Maggie, do you want to come over here?
Now she's already kind of wary. And then look how he pulls the arm. Like, real rough at first, but then he, like... The guy's a creep, man. Like, I hate the fact that he's going to be the Democratic frontrunner. It looks like they all out made it happen, you know. And Bernie dropping out was just, that's a shame for me. Watch what he's gonna say to her.
Thank you.
All right, well, nice to see you guys.
Even the mom didn't
See
like
you back
it.
home, I hope.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay? Thanks, pal.
Thank you.
We're gonna leave this way. Thanks, pal. Dad, congratulations.
Now, there is so much wrong with this video that I really don't even know where to begin. I think the worst part is that it really seems like the parents are in on something. From the mom telling the daughter to come over and like insisting that she comes over, to them just sitting around laughing while he's obviously making her extremely uncomfortable. And then for Chris Coons to go on record saying that his daughter was not uncomfortable in all these interviews. Something about trying to say, I'll read more into him. You know, I really am kind of rubbed wrong that this is not being brought up
But
more
that was a lot.
during
That was
this
weird.
election. It's been very, very heavily suppressed by his team, and I think they're going to get away with it.
You can find these videos everywhere.
My dad used to say you got one job. I have a beautiful sister like you guys. I swear to God, he used to say you have one job. Keep the guys away from your sister. You're in trouble. Hey, Bridget, how old are you? 16. Uh-oh. I hope you got big dogs around the house.
Big dogs, dry dogs.
I'm supposed to kiss
Who
you or
is that?
something.
No.
I don't kiss
Oh, why don't you kiss me? Thank you. Over there, Mary Lyle. Hey, good to see you, man.
It's like he got caught there. He's just a weird dude. Like,
Come on. You get right in there. Come on. When I die, I want to be reborn in Charleston.
He's a Wakil, right?
Well, yeah, I get to go down almost once a year.
This is my mother, Joanna.
Mom, I want to know what you're drinking. God, look, you look like your sister. Jesus, God. I'm serious.
Vice President of the United States of America.
For a couple more days.
It's okay. You hang on to that.
And girls, be patient. Fathers are hard to raise. Just be patient. That's my daughter told me. Oh, I tell you what. You ready?
All right, ready? Oh, I got it.
holding her.
Dave.
Like,
Do you want to do a goofy one?
You sound like my daughter. Get in here. Gotta get us all in. Thanks so much. I'm gonna leave that
these
Bible
aren't that
here.
bad. These aren't that bad.
Tell them in
You shouldn't use
14
these
days
because the
no longer
video I
vice president.
found recently was just like insane.
Thank you. Thank you.
This one was bad. This one I thought was really strange.
Next to me.
He grabs her, this girl in the red dress.
Right next to me. And then
He's always
we're gonna have
very forceful with the arm.
Daddy
you know.
put his left hand in the bottom
He's got the
of his
arm on the
hand.
neck.
He's having fun. Thank you,
He's
sir.
gonna swing his arm wherever he wants. Watch.
You should come here.
Look at her.
Here we go.
Now he's got his arm right here in front of everybody. Like,
Hold the Bible.
just hold her in a way that if I was holding your daughter like that, I don't think you would be happy with it. Like, I gotta be honest with this. Like, I just think it's strange. I think it's really strange. Anyway, throw me off, but just something that something to see. Now the Dow just going down worse. Another 500-point loss. I mean, you thought that week where they pumped everything up and made it look handy dandy was actually going to suffice, actually going to keep us going? It wasn't. You damn well know it wasn't. It's bad news. Just showing you my trade here. I got stopped out at Bitcoin. I lost $120. I got stopped out at VeChain. I lost $100. So basically gained 300 and lost 220. So that's just how the market works in my last 4 trades. So just to show you that I don't always make money. I'm not always constantly in the money. I do what I can to figure things out. Gold crossing $1,700 an ounce. Decisive moment, decisive times. I bet you now it's more expensive to buy gold than it was just a week ago when it was down $1,580. Even we went down as, let's see, the cheapest you could have bought gold recently was right here at like $1,560 on March 31st. And then again on March 19th, $1,473. That was the chance of a lifetime. Look at my green buy zone. I said when it hits this green buy zone, it's time to get down, you know. So same with JNUG. I said we're in this moment. I mean, I see gold going to freaking $10,000 an ounce. You're gonna see it happen faster than you realize. So don't You know, these things will happen faster than you realize. They really will. So you have to be prepared now so you can take advantage later. Keep looking at these two stocks here, Outfront Media and Lamar Advertising. They're kind of moving. They do remote advertising. So once everything kind of clears and things are going well, you're going to see these two stocks making some moves. They're very well run. They have great management. They're good with their money. They don't have a lot of debt. So they're just two stocks I really want to push, which I don't always like to push stocks on people, but these are just two stocks that I want people to look at, take a thought about, take a gander at, you know. So just something you want to see now. JNUG coming back up strong, 1623, already 100% since that bottom at 370 or even 3. Let's see where we really bottomed here. Yeah, the wick down to 349. So damn well on its way to 100% gains for JNUG. Something really strong to see. So what are my plays? What are my moves? Today I'm taking a breather. Honestly, I would be shorting the S&P. You know, that's basically it. That's the last thing I could be doing is shorting the S&P. And from there, we'll go from there. So I really got no other plans for today. But to short the S&P, kind of look more closely at Bitcoin. There are some big things happening with Bitcoin, though, and some other moves and some things we want to talk about here. Deadly storms ripped through south on Sunday, up and down the same hill over and over, the latest triathlon trend. Madrid's most vulnerable and desperate amid the coronavirus lockdown. Need to know. These are just, a subscriber, a guy I was watching. But watch this. This is from Bitcoin from a long time ago.
Well, I guess you can trust it because it's not controlled by anyone. I mean, had PayPal invented Bitcoin, we'd all be heralding it as the most important financial revolution since the internet, since the credit card, perhaps.
How do you account for all of the unknowns?
Well, it is regulated.
What's the value of it? I mean, but what's the value of one Bitcoin?
I mean, I think right now one Bitcoin goes for about $110, and I think it's skyrocketing precisely because of all these great aspects about it.
The whole Bitcoin market is about $1 billion. It's a novelty for the geek squad. I can assure you, if these became well promulgated, then the U.S. government would shut it down.
And just to give our
you hear that U.S. government would shut it down. Well, why would they let it get from $100?
Give you some perspective. There's about $4 trillion in currency trading every day, and as Michael said, it's about $1 billion worth of Bitcoin.
Is getting any traction in the markets then, Jeff?
Well, yeah, absolutely it is. I mean, it has quintupled in value over the last year. Just since the Cyprus thing came up, it's up over 20%. Over the last month or about a couple months, it's up over 40%. So it's actually.
See, they brainwash people so bad to think that what real money is. Now, the U.S. dollar is currency. It's not money. You have to watch The Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike Maloney to understand the difference. What's going on, Muser? The difference between money and currency. And there's a big difference here. So I just want to bring you guys up to speed with more and more people are going to understand what money really is. And they're going to realize it's a scarce asset that can hold its value over long periods of time. It doesn't have to be scarce, but it should be fungible. It should be have that ability to hold wealth over long periods of time. Gold will hold your wealth. Had you bought $100 worth of gold in 1910, 1920, which back then would probably get you, what $100 US dollar was back then. So I always tell people this story, and this is how I understand Bitcoin. I go to my own beliefs and my own thoughts. You have to have your own critical thinking mechanisms in your brain here to figure these things out. Can't wait for someone to explain it to you. You have to take the knowledge and then use that knowledge to your advantage. So how I look at it is I look at it like this. Now, if you were to buy an ounce of gold in 1920, right? I just have my hand on the mouse, so I'm like, this is something I want to show you guys. If you guys have having trouble understanding the market, right? The price of gold in 1920, right? Gold prices in London in 1929. Okay, let's just say it was $20 an ounce, right? But $20 was worth so much more money back then. I'm trying to give you an actual value, but I really don't need an actual value. 1833 to present. Here we go. So in 1920, you were to buy an ounce of gold, right? So from 1920 to 2020, you'd have paid $20 for an ounce of gold in 1920, okay? And now $20 was really, like, my parents told me in the 70s they used to buy, or in the 60s they used to buy milk for a quarter. You used to go to the store with 50 cents and you could buy milk, bread, all these things that I pay, like, So milk has gone up eightfold, right? It was 25 cents. Now it's worth $5.50, something like that, right? Actually tenfold. More than that, 20 times more, right? Now an ounce of gold would have bought you so much milk back then, right? At $20, right? Now look at milk now. So let's just show you. Now you had $20 now. So look, I'm going to use milk as an example here. Cost of milk in 1929. Or 1920. All right. Bacon, butter, eggs, lettuce, milk. A gallon of milk in 1920, okay? A half gallon of milk, which we all buy at the store now, was 33 cents in 1920, okay? So, and gold was, so just watch this. This is insane. Gold was $20.68 an ounce, okay? And divided by 0.33 cents, right? You could have bought 62 quarts of milk, right? Makes sense? Because 10 for $3, right? And then 3 times 7 times, yeah. So you could have bought about 62 half gallons of milk. A single serving gallon of milk that we all bring back then. Now the cost of milk, let's just say $5.50, right? What's the cost of milk right now? Just showing you. So you could have bought 62. Now, let's just say you had $20 back then. You could have bought 62 ounces of milk. Now you have $20 now. You can buy 4 ounces of milk. And remember, you could have put that. So the milk price, right, just keeps going up. Where is it now? To 2020. $7.32 in 2020. Okay? $7.32 for milk. Is that true too? Like, look, can you buy milk at Whole Foods? And I don't drink dairy milk. I'm just using this as an example, right? Especially if you want organic milk. Never mind that, right? So I don't have the prices, but we know when you go to the store, you're paying, like, let's just say a really cheap, crappy milk, $5. Some really high, expensive organic milk, $7. So let's say $6. Let's say $6. All right. So I'm breaking down, you guys, why you need to buy Bitcoin, but I'm using milk and gold, okay, as an example. Now, and I'm using gold as an example because gold has a smaller circulating supply than the US dollar. That can't be just out of nowhere. They can make the supply of gold bigger, for sure. They can start mining more gold, but they can't just out of nowhere print gold like they print the US dollar. So we took you to 1929. We took you to 1920, the price of gold, average price of 1 ounce, right? 1 ounce of gold in 1920 is $20.68, okay? And now we know it's at $1,700 an ounce. So let's just show you what happens here. So, and then we showed you that milk was 33 cents. So we went 20.68 and we divided by 33 cents. 62 gallons of milk, half gallons of milk you could buy. Now milk is like 7. So now, but now you had $20, let's just say. So you had $20.68. Now you held that $20.68 under your mattress for 100 years. You're a time traveler, and you hold it for 100 years. Okay? And what you then do is you go and buy milk now. 2068, right? And you divide that by, we said like $6 to be fair. And I think it's actually more than that. But so you could get now 3. So what you could used to get $62 for, 62 cartons of milk for. And we didn't even bring out inflation and all that, which we could, this would even devise this number even further down. But let's just say, you know, by just simple math, you would have gotten 3.4 half gallons of milk today with the money that you had from back then. Now, had you converted it to gold and then converted it back to money today, you'd have $1,700. Okay? And you divide that by 6, and you're at 283 half gallons of milk. You've now we can divide that by 62, and now 4.5 times you've taken your wealth. Number one, you've been able to buy 4.5 times more milk than you could 100 years ago for the same asset. So gold has just continued to show you why it's an amazing asset that you shouldn't give up on. So just something to bring up. And now when you bring in Bitcoin has such a small circulating supply compared to all these other things. It's just got to hit you hard in your mind, like, wow, you know. And that's why you should come to my channel, is I think I just bring you guys really good advice and you know, a contrarian look on the market.
Getting some visibility out there again.
Your purchasing power can be wiped out in a nanosecond, and that's why it would never be widely accepted in this country.
I hear you say that, but that doesn't make it true. And I think that there are people who spend a lot of time on this that might know this topic maybe a bit more and who would believe in it.
Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever. Humanity will bounce back. We always do. With each passing crisis, we come out stronger than ever.
There's no need to panic. We don't have to hoard cans of spaghetti or go down into the basement. But we need to get going because time is not on our side. In fact, if there's one positive thing, it's that it can serve as an early warning, a wake-up call to get ready. If we start now, we can be ready for the next epidemic.
There's no way to measure just how bad the consequences of the current monetary policies will be. But if you think that at the end of all of this, somewhere, lies a digital immutable future, then you already know there is no exit plan for Bitcoin.
I think Bitcoin was so smart that it was made for like 20 years ahead of its time. I think people that are getting onto it now are just people who can see the future, honestly.
For Bitcoin, right now, it's happening. I'm sure nobody saw this coming to the scale it is now. So Bitcoin has the biggest opportunity right now to take over. Are we there yet? No. But I'm just saying the door is open. Fiat will become meaningless in the future. United Nations proposes a new global currency. So this UN report that was released this week suggests the dollar outsized its role in international finance. And
here they go with the New World Order, the global currency. That was a strong example of how gold's value has risen at a faster rate than the cost of resources. Yeah, man, I just, like, this is what I study for a living. Like, I basically isolated myself from a lot of society, stayed in my own head, spent a lot of time thinking, and then I led myself to the knowledge where I wanted to learn. No one is taking physical cash anymore. No one wants it, right? No one wants the physical cash. They're like, oh, it's dirty. Like the other day I had it and there's a sign outside, please don't use your cash. Everyone ran. I took out, I don't know if you guys did, but I took out some money. You know, I thought it would be good to have cash on hand just in case. And yeah, it's going to be Monero soon, man. Everything that would have been cash will go to Monero. That's why I think Monero is a big buy. If you don't know what Monero is, Monero, if I go to my Crypto Life for One XMR, I know exactly where it is. We get to my Monero right here at 5161. Monero is a complete privacy coin. It's a tumbler. It tumbles all your transactions. It's basically similar to money laundering in a way, but this is the stuff you don't learn in school. Yeah, you need to learn this stuff. Monero has a strong privacy functions. Yeah. Emil, man, nice to see you here, man. Now, this guy, Emil Cook, man, me and him go way back. He was an interesting kid, grew up in Jamaica Plain. He connected with all sorts of people, white, black, Spanish, Chinese. Like, he had the ability to kind of morph in a way, in my opinion. He had a street side to him. He had an intellectual side to him. Very interesting kid that I grew up with. And yeah, like we go back deep. Like, I get goosebumps right now. A little emotional talking about Emil, because he was there through a lot of things, and he saw me go through some unimaginable times. I don't really like to get into it, but like, you know, I went through break-ins in my house, friends lying to me, and I learned the power of greed and money at a very young age in the hardest way anyone could learn. It took me years to emotionally pull off all the shit that went on, and to like kind of like strip it all and recreate myself as a different person. A lot of issues with me and my family, and just thanks, Emil. I appreciate it, man. And yeah, man, we used to play pool. He had an awesome pool table in his house. Used to go to his crib, smoke one real quick, play some pool. But yeah. Yeah, this channel's hard some days, because sometimes, like you guys right now, the only people commenting, 5 people on. And it's like, damn, like, how come only 5 people want to know this truth? And maybe I have to do better with how I promote the channel. I got to just do better, you know. I got to be, I got to do more, you know. I got to do more. But yeah, we had a real crew, man. We had a real crew. Like, we kept it 100%, those benches. Like, anyone had a upbringing. I mean, I fought people there. Drank wild turkey before school. Did tabs of acid before. So, like, we just... man, when I tell you we were lit. Like, these kids, maybe they're lit now. I don't know. We were definitely lit. We were lit. Like, it was... And I don't advise that behavior, and I'm not saying that. I was a young kid. We went through a lot. But, yeah, man. You helped me a lot, Emil, that day. Some people like living in the dark, yeah. Boston's finest, baby. 617's finest, man. Emil, man. My dude, man. You know, I moved back to Boston, Emil. So I'm local, man. I heard you're in PA. But yeah, wow. Emil, man. Thank you for coming on the channel today. I appreciate it. Yeah, just hit the bell for notifications. I actually saw your comment. I meant to hit it up and say, yeah, come on here. I get all sorts of comments. Then I half write. I forget. I still have ADHD, man. I'm still the crazy guy I always was. Not much has changed. Here's something I want to show you too.
You will see that the market started to tank. Circumstances right now it did. You could almost perfectly map it on to what is going on right now. Now again, we're in a unique time with a whole different set of circumstances right now. Nonetheless, you will see that the market started to tank during the first wave and second wave of the pandemic, and they bottomed out, and then it kind of bounced back up again because people thought the worst had passed. One of the big things I've been noticing already in my community is that a lot of people are already starting to get complacent. There's more traffic on the road, there's more people out there doing stuff, and there was recently reports of infected people in a local grocery store here. So in spite of their best efforts to keep the spread of this down, it's still occurring, and it's going to continue to occur because people are going to get complacent again. Those cases may well get on the rise again as people get more comfortable and people start to think that the situation has been resolved. And that is why this lockdown is going to likely persist for a couple months from now at least till June, possibly till July and August. So what happened then when the stock market went down to 18,000 points? Was this massive, what you might call an overcorrection? Well, now it corrected in the opposite way. But make no mistake, we are still in a recession. There's 500,000 documented people in the US who are infected with this right now, meaning that there's probably 5 million. We could speculate that we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I may be wrong about this, but they're doing roughly the same amount of tests every day. I'm not sure if it's like 100,000 tests a day. And these tests seem to be yielding the same amount of cases. So does that mean that if they're doubling that testing, that they're going to see a double amount of cases in that period of time? It's hard to say. So what I'm saying is there may be a lot more cases out there than we know about. Consider that in the Great Depression, there was a trend throughout the Great Depression where it was going downwards. It was like a downward staircase, but you'd always get these upswings, okay? And every time there was an upswing, it was like a...
So even in the Great Depression, Emil, we're going to get to all your questions. I'm not ignoring you. I just wanted to finish this thought.
Another fleecing of the sheep. And what happens is all the little guys, you know, they hear fear of missing out happens, and so they start buying.
Don't touch this equities market. I keep telling people it has not bottomed out. It clearly hasn't. My research into gold, my research into Bitcoin, my understanding of the markets, I can see what's coming a little bit more than the average person. And I'm telling you right now, short that S&P for the next couple weeks. Short the S&P for the next couple weeks.
Think that, you know, they're coming out of the recession or the depression. Sure enough, there's another economic downturn, and the same cycle continues.
Let me show you where I think we're at, and then we're going to get into the Bitcoin halving and these questions, because these are amazing questions. I'm really happy that you're that into it. The housing market is on the way down for sure. Yeah, Emil, how do you base, where did you learn? Because you seem to have followed similar steps as me. What gave you these insights? Because I'm not saying it's obvious to most people who can just look at things, but you had to kind of get woken up out of the sleep, right? Someone had to drag you out of your thoughts to get you going. How did you wake up? What was it to you that made you realize, for you to make a statement, the housing market is going to tank? It lets me know that you have been watching what I've been watching, reading things that I've been reading, and you understand. So, housing market for sure is about to tank. Yeah, man. See, if we all can see it, and we're just little guys, why Goldman Sachs coming out? Like we hit Dow Jones right now, and we go, and one of the main articles is Goldman Sachs telling everyone that we have, Caterpillar, American Express share loss contributed to that. They always try to say what it is. The debt is piling up. I learned online watching Buterin drop Ether, almost got it on the ICO, but bought it at $20 Ether. I'll say, so you're a holder, man. You're holding Ethereum, and you still hold that Ethereum? Like, you haven't sold Ether? Ether was the first thing I ever bought. I bought it at $180. I was told to buy it at $9 by a guy in the street. He showed me crypto coin market cap. He showed me coin market cap. That's why I always get the shivers when I look at coin market cap, because this guy showed me coin market cap in 2014. I'm sitting there selling drones in the street out in Manhattan. This guy walks by in a Bitcoin shirt or an Ethereum shirt, something like that. No, I got in on Bitcoin after it hit 1K. Nah, I made moves. Okay, I feel you. I got into Bitcoin around 2,700. So you got in earlier than me, man. Look at you, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of anyone that woke up, because a lot of people won't put their money into Bitcoin no matter how much I tell them. They're just looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, yo, you don't understand, you know. But this guy shows me coin market cap, which Komodo. Something I really like. I like Komodo. Komodo makes moves, man. Who doesn't hodl, man? Everyone hodls a little bit. You gotta hodl, right? I keep my coins on the stash. The only thing I'm worried about hodling now is when Bitcoin halves, people are gonna dump their altcoins. It's going to happen. So I know. I remember at the restaurant, sitting at the bar, we're sitting there talking. I was in the corner of the bar. I remember that. I remember exactly to the moment where we were. You just gotta hodl. But what I'm worried about is, I hold a lot of ADA, I hold a lot of XRP, and when Bitcoin halves, I think my altcoin holdings are gonna get beat down. Like, technically, I should sell them, buy into Bitcoin, ride the wave, and buy back in. Nikolai, meet Emil. Emil, meet the Muser, meet Emil Cook. Emil is a long-term friend I've known since I was about 13. So for over 20 years, I've known Emil. We grew up in high school together, and there was everyone knew each other, but there was a very close-knit of, we were the hip-hop kids. We were listening to Premiere early in the morning. We were listening to Edo G. We started with, local rap. My first album I ever bought was EPMD, Out of Business. One of the first things I ever listened to in the benches there was EPMD. Then it was Pete Rock, Soul Survivor. And from there, just my, and then I still make rap music to this day. Still make music, still rap to this day. Put out a rap song recently. I finally fixed the mix a little bit, and I want to put out the song. I think today or tomorrow I'm going to be putting out the song. But let's just look at the cryptocurrencies for today. What's going on with Bitcoin and everything else. And then we're going to get into what I think is going to happen with the halving. Yeah, EPMD, man. My first album I ever bought, like Bitcoin down 5% in 7 days, 3% in the last 24 hours. That's a pretty big hit to me. But at 6,745 in total around the world, 153 for Ether, XRP holding at 18. I also mine on NiceHash, ran about 20 plus GTX. I also mine on NiceHash. Okay, what is NiceHash? NiceHash is like, let's look. NiceHash.com is a Slovenian cryptocurrency. Everything crypto in one place. Buy, sell hash power at exchange cryptocurrency. Buying hash power. See, that's a new thing I'm seeing is you can buy hash power now to get more mining, right? I was doing this. I had some of these sites I was doing them. What was it? Genesis mining. I started with that. So currency mining. Connect your GPU ASIC to your entire mining farm to NiceHash and start earning Bitcoins. Start mining today. Checking your browser. I could take my shield down too so I can get some points. Huh. It's a decentralized crypto mining platform. Cool, man. Where they mine for you and you just get collects. I was using Honey Miner. If you ever go to Honey Miner, it's pretty cool to just run in the background. Honey Miner is very small amount, but it's good enough. Like, what I did is that other place I used to work at, I just leave it running on multiple computers. I got caught doing it once too. It was crazy. The head engineer was like, "We don't allow these purposes." I should dig out this email. It's the funniest thing ever, but because of legal things, I don't really want to talk about it. Exactly. I had a few rigs set up, but you have to have like 1080 graphics card. Yeah, I got 2 big beastly graphics cards in my computer right now. So, Amelia, man, you know your thing, man. We should link back up one day. Do you ever come back into the bean? It was a lick. I made G's off NiceHash. That's dope, man. Good to hear, man. I didn't see. I wonder how many of us at that benches are into cryptocurrency right now. I bet maybe me and you might be the only people. Yeah, it was really profitable. Basically, right before 2017, if you got into mining, man. All right, so you should, when you come back to Boston, let me know, man. And we should link up. Yeah, they all flakes, right? There are not many people like us. No, man, that's why it's the crypto lifer, man. It's like there's such a deep connection when you get involved with crypto. And the thing is, though, me and Emil knew each other way before Bitcoin was ever mentioned. Me and Muser knew each other way before Bitcoin ever mentioned. But it was our connection, our frequency connection, that had us all going to the same place, you know? Now, you got into what's going to happen with the miners. Well, miners are definitely going to get less money. Miners going to capitulate, and a lot of miners are going to drop off. But what happens when miners drop off is the difficulty level goes down. Once the difficulty level goes down, new miners will see it as an opportunity to get back in. There's basically an explanation how the mining algorithm and the difficulty levels will make Bitcoin profitable forever. I mean, just an idea. Because what will happen is when less miners leave, then the difficulty level drops. Meaning then now the miners that stayed get more rewards. Oh, that's the calculator. Yeah, to make how much you can get off your graphics card. So they'll show me right now like what I'll be able to get. Interesting. I might mess with NiceHash, man. I have another computer that I want to convert. It's been sitting around, just sitting, well-made computer. Have it sitting there, and I just want to boom it up and just start mining all the time. Like down here in this nice, cool basement, I could just be running a miner. Was my idea right now. Right now, I'm stuck. I still have things in an apartment back home, which I'm not paying rent on. I mean, the landlord's going to come get me soon, but they can't kick me out because I have a new place to live. But I do have possessions there. I told them that I basically had moved out, and in so many words said I wouldn't be paying rent. It was a very awkward conversation, but yeah, it's not worth the electricity now. But you know what? If you believe in Bitcoin, you might as well stack some Bitcoin. But I get you, man. Same thing with the Honey Miner. You can calculate your earnings here on the Honey Miner. So yeah. No, I just got some old friends from high school jumping on the live stream. It's really cool, really interesting. No, not today.
I made home fries and eggs.
No, not today.
You have to eat breakfast.
I didn't want to eat today. I wanted to fast, and my wife just said, "You have to eat. I made you food."
It's gonna be ready in 10 minutes, okay?
I have to eat food, even though I don't want to. My stomach hurts from last night. I've been eating way more food than normal during this time. I don't know if you guys have. Like, I've been gaining weight. Like, I gotta really get back to my fasting. Just everything, man. You know. Bitcoin has never been this oversold. This is interesting to see.
In this video, the Bitcoin halving.
He makes crappy little videos every day, and I'm the most known Bitcoin guy. I'm probably jealous because he gets a lot of hits, but I also think he pawns off a lot of information that we all know as his own. Like, I predict that the Federal Reserve printing money will make Bitcoin go up. It's like, yeah, okay, guys.
It's coming up in less than 1 month. And I'm going to show you this chart showing us that the Bitcoin price has never been this oversold at a Bitcoin.
Everybody's gaining weight, right? The COVID-20, I gained 10 pounds easy. It was cheese, man. I stay away from cheese. For years, I cut it out of my life because I knew I had a problem with it. Like, I have a problem with cheese like someone has a problem with heroin. No, I'm serious. I'll eat an entire bar of cheddar, sharp cheddar cheese. Once I take a bite of the sharp cheddar, it's the salt, the sugar, whatever they get, dude. Oh, my God. Cabbage, sharp cheddar cheese. So then I got the jalapeno. Now I'm like, if I show you my cheese drawer upstairs, you would look at me and be like, Sam, you need some help. You need some help. You're addicted to cheese, man.
Historically. And look at this, guys. In the CME futures chart, we have a new CME gap. I'm going to show you exactly where this gap is and whether this is going to get filled or not. And if you think that that sounds interesting, then I movement to the downside until we see a big spike in the volume. And yeah, so far we have not seen it. One thing I do want to show you is that Bitcoin right now has formed a CME futures gap, as you can see here. This is on the 4-hourly time frame. So this is a 4-hourly gap right here. And this means that Bitcoin needs to come up and fill this at approximately $7.3 thousand. You know that gaps tend to fill sooner rather than later. And going out to the daily, we can see that there is not a gap here. However, of course, there are two different ways you can measure.
Yeah, I mean, I still burn heavy, bro. I've never taken a break really since those early days, man. I don't. It seems like you. If I had to guess, I was like, you look like you cleaned up your act a little bit. Me, I'm just still, I got into video work. I still kind of work creatively. I refuse to kind of ever join that like 9-to-5-esque thing. I do video work in offices that make me uncomfortable because I'm in like what feels like a corporate structure. But there's always creativity. There's always fun. There's always movement. Right now, I'm actually at work. I'm still working remotely, but it will only last 1 more month, and then I'll be there with basically all the other people. I'm still a creative.
These gaps. Some people measure from the close to the open, and if you do that, then of course you can see that there is a gap here. But yeah, regardless, we do have a gap on the 4-hourly time frame, and also on the
I seen you were doing a hip hop school thing, man. It's a healing for the nations, for sure, man.
Daily, if you do measure the gaps from the close to the open. And guys, the Bitcoin halving is coming up in 29 days.
That's kind of crazy, man. 29 days. I've been waiting for this halving for 4 years.
But as you can see from this chart here from Plan B, he says that the RSI has never been this weak before the halving. And you can see down here that this is the RSI, and you can see that the halving takes place when the blue turns to red. So that was the halving, and the RSI was at 70. This halving, the RSI was at 60. And look at where the RSI is currently, right at the point of the halving, or 1 month before the halving. We're way below 50 here. So it is true that the RSI has never been this low before a halving. And if we go over to this chart, I can show you more specifically what he's talking about here. So we
are not beautiful.
Vertical lines here are
man, hip hop ed on Twitter. We got a dope international community of teachers who grew up hip hop like us, and how to reach and teach the youth with the real world education.
The halvings, and the orange line down here is the weekly RSI. And if we take a look at the weekly RSI, of course, in the first halving here, the RSI was all the way up here at approximately 70. At this halving, we can see that the RSI was at approximately 60. And now you can see that the RSI is way below 50, all the way down at 44. And yes, the Bitcoin price has never been this oversold at a halving. So in my opinion,
I keep playing Bitcoin back and forth, but I'm just so tempted just to buy one more Bitcoin and leave it alone. No stop loss. Just let it rock.
And we are seeing the best opportunity to buy Bitcoin based on the based on the historical price action. And I'm not necessarily talking about.
I mean, I don't buy that really. Just because the RSI is that low and accumulating of a halving. If we do 10 more halvings, we'll see that kind of was like a pickpocket indication of statistics. Like we could just kind of find it at that moment, but we don't know if it's really exactly true. It's definitely something to look at.
But I am talking about the long term. I think that these are fantastic levels to accumulate Bitcoin now before the halving, because we're seeing so much fear around, not only in crypto, but around in the macro economics also. The financial markets are all very, very bearish. So yeah, in my opinion, Bitcoin is in a fantastic buying opportunity right now. And next up, good news from NordVPN. They have another 70% off. East
this dude, all
will
he
be
does is
required to make a down payment equal to 20% of the home's value. Why are they doing this? Well, JP Morgan, they know that we're going to see more and more defaults happen, and they know that if they extend credit now, most likely this credit is not going to be paid back, so they are raising their standards. And this is something that is going to further push really...
See, they're making it harder to get credit now because they know if they give the credit out, they won't get the money back, right? Oversold means too much supply. No, let me show you real quick. We'll go with the Bitcoin because Bitcoin's the best. Bitcoin's like a really good indication of when you show this. But yeah, I love your question because this is where I get to shine, honestly. Okay, so let's go to Bitcoin on the daily, okay? Now, each of these is a candle, right? And each of these candles represents 1 day in a market. Now, if I change this to 12 hours, each candle is 12 hours, and so on and so forth. So we're going to break down oversold for you right now as we speak. Right here is an oscillator. An oscillator is basically just an indicator, okay? I have a few different ones that I use, but the most basic collection of indicators I use are 5 moving averages. And if I were to take price action away, I'll show you, it's these lines. See these, the yellow, the blue, the purple, the red, and the white line? See these lines here? These are all moving averages. Basically, they're algorithms that track the price in the average price at that time. So this is a 200 day. So basically 200 days, if we were to average out the price should be around here. This is the 100 day. This is the 80 day. This is the 21 week. So the 21 week, the shorter the time frame, the closer it is to the real price, because if you think about it, it's only taking that short time frame. Now we use these as indications. See, right now the price is above. It's fighting with the 21 day moving average. It really held it. These moving averages can be support because what happens is traders trade on them. So for instance, they'll buy at the 21 and they'll take an idea and say, you know what, when we hit the 200, I'm going to sell. So they'll put a sell signal, like kind of like every day they'll change it because it changes, but they'll put a little sell signal kind of right around here. Now Bitcoin back, yeah, let me see your math work, honey. We're talking about math right here. What are we talking about? Crypto, right? And what's the big crypto that we talk about? What's the big Bitcoin? Yeah, right? She knows about her Bitcoin. Wow, 1 plus 4 is 5, right? 3 minus 2 is 2? No, that's a 1. That one needs some help. 3 plus 1 is 4. That's correct. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. 4 minus 3, are these 1s? Is this a 1 or a 2?
It's
You should know. 3 plus 2 is 5. She just turns the page. You don't answer the question. Paula receipts. What's going on? 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 plus 2. Excellent. These two need to be shifted. Those are 1s. They look like 2s. Either your 1s look like 2s or you need to do some better math, honey. All right. You got to be a dad, man, number 1. All right. So we have the relative strength index on the bottom. We have the MACD, moving average convergence and divergence. We have price action with moving averages. My white lines are the white lines I put out at support and resistance. So Emil asked the question, oversold means. So this indicator is amazing. What it does is we put a dotted line here at 70 and at 30. And we could change them here. Like right here, I could change it. It used to be 80 and 20, but 70 and 30 is kind of what a lot of traders use. Now, when this red line goes below 30, it gets into what's called oversold. And what that means is this is a relative strength index. It's an algorithm that's compiling how many people are buying this asset and how many, on average, how many people were buying and selling. And basically, it can tell you at one point when the overall supply has been exhausted, meaning, okay, if everyone bought up here and we know how many people bought, and then it goes down and people start to sell. It's as if people were trading baseball cards. I'm trying to think of a good idea. And a baseball guy, people bought and sold baseball cards. And one guy sold 100 to one guy. And then that price of the card went up so much, the guy sold. So he sold 80 of them. So now everyone in the market knows there's only 20 left to sell. So there's not many left to sell. Like, there's not many cards left. There's not many of this. There's not many average people that are willing to sell this asset at that price. So you can find out, oh, it's oversold. So if we look at Bitcoin in the last, since it's been out in 2017, since these future contracts came out here on Bitcoin, we see it was extremely oversold here when we bottomed at basically 3,100, right? Our lowest point ever. Then it was extremely oversold again here back at that, when we wicked all the way down to 3,900. I still can't believe we saw 3,900. So those have been the best times to buy Bitcoin, when it's oversold, meaning there's not left to sell. There's not many people left there to sell this, to sell it. So when you want to buy, when you want to sell up here. Like when we peaked up here, maybe take a nibble. Exactly. You always want to buy during an oversold. Like basically, you want to look at a bunch of different coins. Like what I do is I go to the Crypto Lifer, right? I set my, like say I have $2,000 and I just want to make a trade. I don't really care the asset as much as I'm not looking at fundamentals. And I just scroll down and I look for the most oversold coin I can. And you can see they're almost very similar. They were all, that bottom was the day to buy. You would have made gains on almost every single coin. But you have to have balls. You have to buy in the face of fear where everyone's bugging out. Like you have to just be like, you know what, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that and make that buy right now. So I keep scrolling and almost everything's the same. And I'm just looking at the RSI right now. I'm going through all these different assets, data, doc, right? And like a few of them won't be exact. Most of them right here. Now here's one. This is Dragon Chain, okay? And we can see it's very oversold now. It got really low. This could be an accumulation for Dragon Chain because look, it got oversold. It's kind of climbing out. So this will be put it on my radar or something I would look at as maybe a time to take a nibble or accumulate. You really want to get below the dotted line, but if you can get in the general area, it's better off, right? So you want to basically make trades based on all the different indicators, and you can still lose money. Like things can still happen. Nothing is guaranteed. And most of these coins, as you can see, they're going to follow Bitcoin directly. They're going to be oversold with a bump up, oversold with a bump up, oversold with a bump up, oversold with a bump up. Now this one coming back down, self-key. So now I'm looking at it. It's coming back down. So this one I'd put. So there was only two, key and another one earlier. So we look at the RSI constantly, and that's how we can judge basically, you know. Now we also move with a pattern. We also would like to see a pattern, you know. We'd like to see a pattern with that. Like Chainlink was very oversold. Would have been a nice time to buy here. Look, 174, it's up to 334. So had you bought that oversold move, you'd be up 117% right now in basically 2 weeks. So just something to think about and to keep on your radar is the oversold ideas. Yeah.
In this video, the Bitcoin halving.
So the halving, we talked about the halving. I think we answered your question about the miners. A lot of them are going to go bankrupt. They're not going to make enough money and they're going to have to sell Bitcoin, right? But also, what's going to happen is the price could go up double, which means then if you only get your 6.25 Bitcoin a transaction instead of the 12, that's what's happening right now. If you understand the halving exactly, 12.5 to 6.25, and that's going to change how we look at it. So London Real, really cool. Check him out. If you haven't checked him out before, he's definitely someone worth watching. Brian of London Real, he's real. He talks about his addictions. I think he did heroin, drugs, stuff like that. Yeah, I think Bitcoin's going to go up no matter what in this halving. It's just something that's going to happen. We went over creepy Joe Biden. If you didn't know, we went over gold and the price of gold. We talked about mining a little bit. If you want to buy gold, which I think is a good investment, I don't think you'll ever be hurt buying gold, because in 10 to 20 years, you'll be happy you did it. You'll have a little nest egg that you can hold on to. It's at $1,800 an ounce now. It's a $100 premium for gold, but right now is the best time. And this is the cheapest you can buy a gold bar. You get their 1 ounce gold bar at their choice. They just send you whatever gold bar they have. It doesn't mean it matters. They're all 100% gold. They're just different companies make different gold bars, and they'll use whatever you want. If you really want a certain bar, like you want a Perth Mint bar, so you go. And the last time I submitted an order, I added it to my cart, and when I looked at the cart, it said 3 to 5 weeks. But before that, it said till like late June or something. Yeah, see, delivery delayed up to 3 to 5 weeks. It still takes you a while to get your gold, which is really insane, but just something to think about. Yeah, so if I were to trade anything right now, I would wait, because things are getting overbought, as you can see. So it almost looks like the whole crypto market is about to take a little bit of a dump. You can just see like everything is getting a little overbought. Monero is the only thing that's kind of in a nice little wedge. Yo, Sam, do you think that Cash App came in and stole some of the opportunity for Bitcoin to get a larger adoption rate? Honestly, I don't. Because it's still dealing with fiat currencies, and what's happened is people are going to realize that they don't want to be attached to the US dollar. That's what's going to happen. Like, that's what we need to bank. We need to bank on the waking up of masses. Once mass wake up, they'll be like, oh, they'll keep some money in the Cash App, because they're like, oh yeah, but it's not Bitcoin. It's kind of similar to, let me think. I'm trying to make a good metaphor for this. Like, Bitcoin is like an extremely thorough raincoat that never leaks, but the Cash App is like a windbreaker you wear for a day. Like, it works and it's cool, but eventually the water's going to get in, right? Eventually you're connected. It's not the best analogy, but if you know what I'm saying, it's like you don't have the protection that Bitcoin gives you with the Cash App. Like, you're still there at bank default systems, all sorts of like that. Yeah, I don't know much about Cash App. I mean, if it has Bitcoin in it too, then I think that's just going to help. I think that just helps mass adoption of Bitcoin. So, right, Cash App is a quick on and off ramp. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's the best metaphor, honestly. I think I could have done better. But, it's more like Bitcoin is the ocean, and you're in the ocean with Bitcoin, and you're free. Your boat's in the ocean, but when you're using the Cash App, your boat's still on like a stream or a pond that's not connected to the ocean. Like, you're not in the same system. Like, you're still bogged down. But if Cash App has instant withdrawals and deposits for Bitcoin, then that's huge in my opinion, because what that's going to do is it's going to just make a new on-ramp, and I think that's anything that's going to help the average person press that buy button. Something they're already assimilated with, something they already understand, is really going to help Bitcoin's moving. It's a facts of the matter, right? Let me check my email at work, make sure. 12 o'clock. It's a rainy day here in Massachusetts, dark and gloomy after 3 nice days. Up in the 60s yesterday. Yeah, you want to be decentralized, man. All right. All right, guys, I gotta jump on off and get ready. Cash App is owned by Square and Jack. Yeah, Jack Dorsey is huge. If you look at Jack Dorsey, he's a huge Bitcoin lover, man. He's been pushing Bitcoin for a long time. So, do you guys like this time frame better, or do you like when I do it when the market opens at 9:30? Let me know, because I found I got a lot more interaction today. A couple other days, like, it was, even when I started the channel, it was slow, and now like I could already see the viewership pick up a little bit. Yeah, but we just keep pushing the agenda, man. A lot to talk about tonight, too, about coronavirus. Peace, Sam. Dope show. 10:45 is perfect. All right, guys. I love you guys so much, man. I really appreciate it. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Any last questions? I'll hang out for a second here because it is latent. It's like 20 seconds latent. So any last questions, let me know. All right, guys, I love you. Be safe. Have a great day. And remember, crypto is